Good evening. I will be your host tonight. We are graced with many special guests tonight, from esteemed peers of our celebrant to his friends and family to our very special guests from the media. Our warmest welcome to you all. Today's tribute is fifth of Freeway's efforts to honor our talented Filipino national artists. In 2009, they spearheaded the effort with the witty works of Nick Joaquin, our national artist for literature, followed by the strong visual images of Ang Kyoko. Last year, Freeway paid homage to Jose Garcia Villa and his charming children's book, followed by the legendary fashion icon Ramon Valera and his timeless creations. Tonight, we are delighted and very honored to pay tribute to one of our few living gems. We hope to share with you his life and his works as he became an integral part of shaping Filipino literature history. As one of the few remaining esteemed literary members of our country, we are truly privileged to have someone who has been exposed to how our country has changed in the last 8 decades. It is now time to put his works to life through a tertulia. A tertulia is a social gathering with literary or artistic overtone. This was specially done during the earlier days when friends and families gathered around a reader or a pianist as a form of entertainment. For our tertulia tonight, we are privileged to have f.sionil José's works carefully chosen and interpreted by Philippine Daily Inquirer editor Lito Zulueta, to be read by our two special guests whom I will introduce shortly, with classical guitar accompaniment by Mr. Ferdy Medina, an instructor at UP College of Music and St. Paul University. So for our first guest, famous for her brilliant acting career with unforgettable roles and iconic lines, Sherry Hill has more than established herself as a pillar of the movie industry. Let us start our tertulia by welcoming Sherry Hill as she reads from The Pretenders.
It is an honor, truly, to be here in front of you, and I cannot tell you more how grateful I am that every time Cherie and her sister, my dear friends, come up with wonderful art like this, I am asked to read for them such wonderful literature. Sionil José's most popular novel is The Pretenders.
He stooped and touched the rail. The steel was cold and unfeeling. The sentiment was cliché again, but the wheels of a train, like fate, would be moving. I'll be a mess, and he shuddered, but only for an instant. I'll be a mess, he repeated out loud, and for the first time in his life, he really did not care how it would appear or how it would feel when death finally came in this meaningless dawn.
I would like to introduce our second guest reader. Aside from being an anchor for the News and Public Affairs Department of TV5, Lourdes has also published 3 collections of poetry. He has won prizes from the Don Carlos Palanca Memorial Awards, Free Press Literary Awards, and the very first NCCA Writers Prize for Poetry. He fronts a spoken word jazz rock band called Radioactive Sago Project, and in a previous career, he worked as a newspaper reporter and editor for several publications. He is host and writer of the video series Word of the Lord, Let us welcome Lourdes Ernest de Vera as he reads from Tree.
Tree is the second novel to be published under the Rosales saga. It is also the second in narrative chronology. The Balete tree. It is there for always. Tall, leafy, and majestic. In the beginning, it sprang from the earth as vines coiled around a sapling. The vines strangled the young tree they had embraced. They multiplied, fattened, and grew, became the sturdy trunk. The branches spread out to catch the sun. And beneath this tree, beneath this tree, beneath this tree, nothing grows.
Thank you, Lord.
Ermita. In his novel Ermita, F.sionil Jose does a character study of a prostitute whose life and history embody the corruption in Philippine society.
You are on your own. My conscience is clear. I've given you a good education. You're 20, an adult now, capable of independence, like you said. So go then. Feli thrusts a pudgy chin at the door. And don't you ever show your face to me again. And that was that. What Ermi did. Never again did she see her aunt. And that same day, with a tremendous burden now on her shoulders, she went to the Camarin.
The God Stealer is one of the most anthologized stories in the Philippines. Where had he seen it before? Was it in Greece? Or in Japan? Or in Siam? The recognition came swiftly, savagely. With watery legs and trembling hands, he stepped down and let the door slide quietly back into place. He knew then that Philip Latak really had work to do, and it would take some time before he could finish a new god to replace the old one. The stolen idol which he was bringing home to America to take its place among his souvenirs of benighted and far away.
So let us now try to know the personal side of the man behind the writer. A foremost Filipino writer in the English language, F.sionil José's works has been translated in 22 languages including Korean, Indonesian, Russian, Latvian, Ukrainian, and Dutch. Throughout his career, his writings espouse social justice and change to better the lives of average Filipino families. His work includes 11 novels, 5 books of short stories, a book of verse, a collection of stories for children, and 4 books of essays. In 1958, he founded the Philippine Center of Pen, an international organization of poets, playwrights, essayists, and novelists. In 1965, he started his own publishing house, Solidaridad, and a year later he began publishing the remarkable Solidarity, a journal of current affairs, ideas, and arts. He received numerous fellowships, honorary PhDs, and awards, which include the Ramon Magsaysay Memorial Award, the Cultural Center of the Philippines Centennial Honors for the Arts, the National Artist Award for Literature, and the Pablo Neruda Centennial Award. He owns Solidaridad Bookshop, on Padre Faura Street in Manila. Let us welcome Francisco Sionil Jose, or fondly known as Sir Frankie and Manong Frankie. Who do you think should or should not be a national artist?
What is art for? Are we going to judge artists by their work alone, writers by their writing alone? You cannot do that. You know, artists and writers should also be judged by how they live. Are they honest? Are they capable of compassion? You know, those are very important elements that should be a kind of measure by which we should judge not only artists but also all human beings.
You obviously love your country, but why are all your children abroad?
Because I also love my children. The opportunities for talented Filipinos are not in Limba. Ang ibig sabihin ba, wala namang pag-asa ng bayan natin? Hindi naman. That's not true. The important thing is for these young people to fulfill themselves. And it's not so much the place where you are, which determines whether you are Filipino or not. Nasa puso yan, Lisa, it's in the heart.
What's wrong with the Filipino and what's his greatest characteristic?
No, it's not so much what's wrong, Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
First, look at your history. We are a very talented people. Hindi lang talented people, we are also a very heroic people. Yeah.
Who do you think is the greatest Filipino writer?
Rizal.
Yeah. Okay. What is the secret to your success?
Depending what you call success. Depending. Some people measure success by the goods that they have. Frankly, kung minsan mahirap na isipin ko how these people can live with 20 cars, with 100 pairs or 3,000 pairs of shoes. How they can live with 10 houses, you know, one in every important city in the world, you know. Tapos bandang huli, you know that you cannot bring anything with you. You know, if only people realize that wala silang madadala, you know, perhaps they will be filled with more compassion for our unhappy country.
Okay, why did you set up Solidaridad?
I've always been interested in our history.
Mm-hmm. How would you describe your own writing po?
Sometimes when I read something na nagustuhan ko, nagagalit ako.
Bakit po kayo nagagalit?
Why didn't I think of it? Bakit hindi ko naisip ito?
What else po do you want to do?
Well, I have a novel in the works. I hope it will be out before December. And only last week, the other week, I saw yung si James Mason in the reissue of Glorietta. And that gave me an idea. So, pag matapos ito, I will live long enough to write still another novel.
Your advice to the Filipinos?
Be Filipino. Be as Filipino as you can. Just remember this, that yung pagka Pilipino mo, lalabas sa sinusulat mo. See? That gives your work its character, its pungency, its identity.
Sir, one of my tasks is to reveal the man behind the words. So this is the fun part, and it is our fast break. So one-word answers. I shall call certain topics and just say the first thing that comes to mind. Okay? Favorite food? Favorite drink? Favorite book?
Mine.
Good answer. Pet peeve?
Insincere people.
Ideal weight?
Ideal weight, 140.
Ideal height?
5'6".
Favorite city?
Alin?
Favorite city? Least favorite city? Least favorite city? Aray ko.
No.
Best day of the week?
Best day of the week, Sunday.
Your weakness? Most beautiful person?
My wife.
Good answer. Greatest fear?
Pain.
Most proud of? Least proud of? Happiest moment?
My wife said yes.
Saddest moment?
Namatay ang mother.
Ideal weather?
San Francisco.
Ideal number of kids?
7.
Ideal number of spouses?
I'm happy with one.
Ideal Philippine president?
That's also good.
What should the Philippines be proud of?
Me, Filipino.
The Filipino. Yes! And to close our evening, is there a message you would like to give all the Filipinos, not just Filipino, young Filipino aspiring writers, but the whole Filipino nation?
Yes. Yes. Is there anyone in the audience who wants to ask a question?
Aha! Your chance.
Do you think we're improving as a people?
Population-wise, yes.
Culture-wise?
We have more visa diplomas, why not?
Good evening, sir. I'm Zarina from IBC 13. Gusto ko lang po itanong bakit halos lahat ng works nyo written in English instead of Tagalog or yung own language nyo as Ilocano?
Because I'm more comfortable with it than in language.
Good evening, sir. I'm Irish Dizan from Cosmopolitan Magazine. My question is, this room is full of journalists right now and writers and young people like me who look up to you. My question is, in your own words, what separates a good writer from a great writer?
What is your unforgettable experience as a writer that you cannot forget in your life? I'm Rebecca Tinata from the Office of Film Bacongan.
One of my most unforgettable experiences as a writer was
I'm Earth from Earth and Gorgeous. I just like to ask, do you have plans to write any more book now?
yes, of course. Yes, of course.
If you will write something about the Philippines, what would it be? At this time.
Sex and violence. And so you ask, why should an 86-year-old man like me, at ang alam na walang pera naman sa pagsusulat, why should I continue writing? I'll tell you why. Because hanggang ngayon, galit at galit. And it is anger and passion that keeps me alive. Because dito sa bayan natin, will you stop being angry, patay ka na.
First, I'd like to thank our host. With 25 years of professional work in 50 cities and in 5 continents, she has become very outstanding in her contribution to Philippine culture, as what Manong mentioned earlier. Truly a supporter beyond her field. Thank you very much, Ms. Lisa Makuha Elizalde. Next, actually, the second one is she's been a friend for a few years. Actually, she's my katukayo, so it feels funny when I talk to her on the phone. I feel like I'm calling myself. It really takes great talent to be able to cross over many fields, from film to TV to stage. So it's I think very few people can do it very well. So she truly has become an integral, unforgettable part of Philippine film with her superb acting, memorable lines, and contribution to Philippine culture. Thank you very much, Sionil. The next one we have is another special individual who is very creative in many areas of the art. He has already shown talent in many areas. He's been a journalist and covered many fields of journalism, from being a TV anchor, to a reporter, to a writer, to an editor. And he's also a recognized multi-awarded poet, a novelist, and now a jazz rock musician with his band Radioactive Sago project. I have no doubt that he'll be an integral part of shaping the Filipino culture in the future. So thank you very much, Lourdes Vale. For a celebrant, actually, he was top in our list when we were planning our next National Artist Tribute. We were actually very excited because he would be our very first living national artist. And I think I saw from tonight the difference it makes if you honor someone who's living, because you truly get his own ideas, his own thoughts, and you can see truly what makes him great, that makes him deserving of being a national artist. These moments are truly one of the perks of what we do, seeing in person how one man is able to affect the lives of many and is able to shape the culture of our country. And tonight, we are really privileged to have someone living in our midst, because there are very, very few of them right now, and to hear from his own words, his thoughts, and what truly makes him the man behind the national artist. So thank you what you've done to Philippine literature, and thank you very much. And I'd also like to call on Mrs. Jose, the woman behind the man. We'd like to give you some flowers.